YouTube Wagwan. This video I want to discuss the spiritual impacts of sexual intercourse, and yeah, let me get straight to it. And that is, there is a spiritual effect. So for example, let's say Sandra, because that's the first name that came to head. Let's say Sandra has slept with 10 men, and then I go and sleep with Sandra. I'm not just sleeping with Sandra, I'm sleeping with whoever she slept with in that entire cesspool of people who have had intercourse. There's a spiritual cesspool. And the same with me. If she's receiving me, she's receiving all my experience, all of me today in terms from a sexual impact. And so it's a big cesspool. So Sandra is even a good example, because if I slept with a prostitute who slept with 1,000 men, and then I wake up the next day and I'm feeling like shaky, well, I've just connected with that person, and that person has already previously connected with other people. So that's one aspect of sex. So don't think you're just having sex with that person. So that's why, to an extent, it's important to know or to have an understanding of the quality of person that your partner or the person you're sleeping with has been sleeping with before you. The quality. That's the most important, because if you have sex with a prostitute, and again, this is only going to affect you if you have, first, spiritual belief, and two, if your temple is clean and your temple is pure enough, it's going to affect you. If your temple is polluted, and your everything is polluted, like you're drinking, you're smoking, you're partying, you're watching social media all day, and you have sex with a prostitute, you probably won't even notice. That's just the truth. But again, if you keep your temple clean, you try to keep your mind clean, you're definitely going to feel some effects. If, for example, you're going to have sex with a prostitute. But that's just one element. And sex drains energy. A lot of people don't understand. They think it's only for a man. A lot of the time, because bear in mind, for a man, you're giving. For a woman, she is receiving. Again, I'm talking from a heterosexual standpoint. So a man, you're giving. So you're giving energy, you're giving love. And I want to focus on energy here. She's receiving that energy. So oftentimes a woman gets a lot of energy and has a lot to benefit. Of course, she has a lot to lose as well, because she's being vulnerable and connecting with another man. It's not something a woman wants to do in excess. But she definitely, from having sex with the right man with the right energy, she's definitely benefiting. And for a man, like I said, whether you ejaculate or don't ejaculate, whether you orgasm or don't orgasm, you are wasting, let me not say wasting, you are using energy on that act. And a lot of the time, men waste energy because you use that energy, because cardio is good, exercise is good, right? But they waste energy by giving the woman, by ejaculating. And she absorbs and gains that energy. She collects that. So just have an understanding of that. And on top of that, if you have, I would say always give everything an energy rating. This is a lesson that I learned from a spiritual teacher of mine. So everything should have an energy rating. Rate it between 1 and 10, the energy rating. So, for example, the energy of this hat, I would rate it a 7. Like, it looks vibrant, it's upbeat, and you should give everything an energy rating. And if it's less than 4, remove it. Even people, you should give it an energy rating. And this is the why I always choose certain furniture. I actually don't like these sofas right now. I bought it when I first came here. If I was to buy again, I would buy something with a high energy rating. But it's still not less than a 4 in terms of it's dark. Brighter colors typically tend to be higher energy. Black is typically the lowest vibrational color. In certain regards, it's hard to explain. But if I'm dressed in all black, it's a really dark energy, and it's really hard to give an energy to it. And like I said in a previous video of mine or somewhere, the witches that I've seen and people involved in dark practices have always been wearing all black. Where I'm, interestingly, people who engage in that kind of stuff wear black and red. So, yeah, so if you have high energy, like if you rate your energy at a 10 and then you go and sleep with somebody who has an energy rating of 2, you think you're just going to be at 10? Absolutely not. You're going to raise her energy and you're going to lower your energy. But the thing is, you're going to go back to baseline, typically. And she's going to go back to baseline. She's going to desire you and want you. So sometimes you might find there's a woman who just always wants to have sex with you. She's always coming back. Don't fool your ego into thinking that it's because you're putting it down. Sometimes it's just because you're oscillating high on an energy and a frequency standpoint, and she's feeding off of that. So you need to be careful of these leeches. I remember I was with a girl, and then I had a dream of her, and in the dream she was a leech. like just sucking my energy, sucking from me. I had to put it to bed. I definitely listened to the spirit. I definitely listened to my dreams with discernment, however, because there's times that I followed my dreams exactly and it didn't quite work out. So when people say follow your dreams, that's an incorrect thing to say, because dreams, you have to first interpret them and then you have to read between the lines and then sort of come up with your own conclusion. So yeah, just be careful, because for example, I'm rating my energy level at 10. I wouldn't go and sleep with a prostitute who has a lower energy rating, because it's going to lower me down. And the next morning or the next day, even on the same day, I'm going to feel lower. I'm going to feel somehow I'm not going to, and she's going to be feeding off of that. She's getting all these clients, taking all their energy, taking their money, taking everything. Right, this doesn't make sense. But yeah, I hope some food for thought.